Okay, howdy folks. My name is Howard. Jennifer is under the weather today. So welcome to the LRC, and as hokey as it may sound, it's where you want to be. So the LRC is the Learning Resource Center, and which is otherwise known as the library. So in case, a new student may or may not know that. It's a common term found in community colleges around the country. So highlighting this page before you, that's right next door, our entrance. And this URL is actually, if you just type in Midland EDU /library, it goes right to our homepage. So that really simplifies the process, and feel free to bookmark that, or as these are Jennifer slides, save it as a favorite. Okay, so this is basically what our homepage looks like when you scroll down. Just a few housekeeping items. Some new things that we've implemented are 2 study rooms. We call them collaborative rooms. And so we basically labeled them A and B. B is a more high-tech version with a high table. You may have seen it. And it seats about 6 to 8 people. And it's got a large 70-inch monitor right behind it. And so that is for... It's hooked up right now. We had it hooked up to a more complex system, but it wasn't working. So we have all you need to do is put your place your laptop and plug it in, and then you can share work as a group. The other room, both of them have whiteboard tables. So there are markers up front. We just don't leave them out because people will walk off. But if you want to, just go to the front desk and ask them for the the erasable markers, not the permanent. It's not the permanent markers that you may carry around. But feel free to write on the tables, and we have some guitar pick tables around the study area that's by the women's restroom downstairs. Okay, so the other thing is we put in vending machines. So we have students are, you could bring in a closed lid. You can drink. We just ask you not to eat or drink near our computer equipment, but otherwise, if it's your own, do as you please. But we also ask that you don't bring in banquet meals, but feel free to bring in snacks and sandwiches and, that sort of stuff, takeout. Okay, so we just ask people, we're going to start a renovation hopefully for the next 5 to 10 years. And so during, you're going to see a lot of new furnishings in the next couple of years. So we just ask that you keep it clean as possible. We don't really have a custodial staff that picks up everything after us, so we're having to do that. Okay, so back to our homepage. We've got our hours listed, and these will be updated, year to year. And so it's just, we also have the computer lab upstairs. Y'all probably have used that. Great. So those are very similar, except they close a half hour earlier, basically. That's the only difference, just for your common knowledge. These are the study areas. So what I was just saying a minute ago, we took out the part about having to check in the key. We found that somehow deterred students from utilizing them as much. So we just leave them open now, first come, first serve. Okay, so here's your catalog. And this is, well, okay. The catalog is really our integrated library system. It has all our library holdings for books and ebooks mainly. And so we're going to get into databases also and what those, the power of those usage. So the Speedy Search is really it's really your best bet. It's also called the Power Search, but we could have named it any number of things. But this is really your Google Scholar, if you will, for databases that are paid by Midland College and state funds and are of special use for research. And so you are not going to see any fluff in these or any advertisements or anything trying to sell you anything. These are, we're going to get into authoritative scholarly research in the next segment, but that's what databases contain. We also advise you not to utilize Google. I mean, you can use Google Scholar, but keep in mind, any of the articles that you do find, you may have to pay for on your own. We don't have, that goes out to the world. And so you have hundreds of databases in there that we just couldn't possibly, you know, maybe even Harvard University can't keep track of all that. But the bigger research universities tend to. So if you get to that level, you may be able to work that. But it's really a good habit to get into for your secondary research, and we'll get into that. So if you're searching for a certain topic, like Miss Egan's humanities courses, you would want to go into, it appears, general interest. It could be in arts and communications also, or your speech courses could be in there. We've broken these into more broad categories, so you're not going to have all of your majors listed right here. This is just sort of a topic list, if you will. Okay, so research tools and tutorials we'll get into briefly. That also gets into what Miss Egan was talking about with your MLA and APA style, primarily MLA styles, and your bibliography tools. It also gets into some of the plagiarism and some of the ways to avoid some of these foul-ups. Okay, so here is, this is basically our, this is the nuts and bolts of circulation. And let us know if you have any questions ever. Another thing that you may want to know is if you ever have any general questions, you can always reach us. If you prefer coming in, that's great, or calling. But really the quickest way to get us, the librarians, is library@midland.edu. It goes into all of our email inboxes. And so if you have a quick question, we'll get right back to you, or within the day. Some days are quicker than others, of course. So this gets into your library. We've done away, it's an unofficial rule, so we don't put it in there, but we've done away with library fines. However, if you lose a book, you can't lose an ebook. That's a good thing about those. But if you lose a book, then we have to charge you for those. But so we're not worried about if you're a day or a week late, that sort of thing. Just as long as you get it back in, typically end of the semester. So that's pretty fair. So here is something Miss Harris designed, and so this shows the start of our Boolean search. This is our library catalog, and it could have any number. It has thousands of items in it. So we've made it easier for you to search through the Speedy Search, but if you are looking for a particular book or author, especially an author of a book, or any type of electronic print book, we urge you to look through the catalog because it is very precise and accurate. Okay, so now we go into what's called a Boolean search. So this is a little bit of a library lesson 101 real quick. We get into what are called limiters and expanders. An expander is a Boolean search. So Boolean is a language in the library and information science fields that allows you to put in applicable search terms, and it's basically Google is a very basic algorithm version of a Boolean search. So this is more of the expanded format of that. So you could see that you could put in any number of things such as your author, title, subject, even a phrase, and it gets much more specific. And so these are the types of resources that we currently have. These are located directly in the catalog. So this is all the library catalog. Okay, now these are the library databases. These are separate from the Speedy Search. What these do, so the Speedy Search is the Google Scholar of the library's website. These are separate specialized websites, databases. They have URLs, but they are databases. And some of these featured, we have a host of ebooks, about 150,000 in our collection currently. We have EBSCO in there, which has Academic Search Complete, Business Search Complete, which are, we have even Britannica. And then we get into some of our more specialized tools. But I would like to encourage any one of you to check out the TextShare links. There are probably close to 100 databases just within TextShare. TextShare is a consortium that we pay into. Many libraries join it for a small fee. There are also open textbooks, and this is something that that would be up to your professor, lecturer, that are produced by Rice University OpenStax. And those are tools to save you money, and they come in nice print textbooks with yellow covers. And they're more like for intro courses. So those may be of use. Now we go back to the Google Scholar of the LRC, and it's called the Speedy Search. This is a very important tool. It's going to help you out immensely. And it's really this is the shortcut to your library, bless you, the shortcut to your library research experience. So you want to click on this button. It actually appears right on our homepage when you log on. You see it right after below the hours if you scroll down. It allows you, once you click on this link, it takes you into keyword, et cetera, subject, title, and then you press search. You put in your search term, and pretty much I would advise to use this just like Google. This is not as specific with Boolean searches as some of the more specialized databases. So you don't have to put quotation marks or separate it out by and or. And we'll get into that, what that all means in our next, actually, we're going to get into it right now. So the Public Services Librarian has a really good way to explain this. So I'll do my best, but as she says, or means more. So anytime you see these, and means pretty much the opposite of what it means in everyday life. You are narrowing down your results by using and, but you're expanding your results by using or. So it's the opposite if you think about it that way. And for whatever reason, those were the rules that they came up with Boolean logic. There's also a not category, and what that does is when you have two things or three subjects, you could have probably up to 5. I wouldn't advise that just for the complexity of the more things you put into a search. Ideally, you probably want to, there's no hard and fast rule, but you want to get back anything from 50 to 500 search items. Anytime you get back 100 to 100,000 and up, that is usually too much. You're never going to, typically the user goes through the first 5 pages. So that's why the less is more. So not, if you go to that slide, what is a Boolean search? Not just eliminates one of your search terms. It's not typically utilized for novice. It's more of an advanced type of search. So this is Library Science 101. Here's another example, and a simple search on animals can bring up these results. Now, if you want to make it more specific, another thing I'll point out is we have arranged with the vendor to limit till full text. That's going to be checked off for you, so you don't need to worry about that. And then this box right here, academic peer-reviewed journals, is also checked off. Now, if you want print books only, you need to check that off as well. Here is something you can tweak. This is the publication date. So if you, let me go back to that. If you want to make this expand out, or the last 3 years, you move this blue bar to the right, and that limits your the amount of years that you're searching. So these are very useful and powerful techniques. Here is another citation that comes up, and this gives you all of your information, including who wrote it, where it comes from, what type of publication, and of course, you've got your citation. Now, here is something called an abstract. An abstract is basically a summary of your article, of your scholarly journal article. We just advise you not to cut and paste this into a paper, because they're going to know, the professor is going to know. This is sort of like your Wikipedia entry. It's just for you to get familiar with the subject. And also, it serves as a way to be able to throw out research that is not relevant to your needs. So you could quickly read the abstract and determine whether this is something you want to go on and read the whole article or most of it. These are tools on the side that could enhance your user experience. You could save them into your Drive account. You could print it. Emailing is pretty simple. You just type into the field your email and where you want it sent, so you can send it to your friend, to your professor, so on and so forth. These are some other tools. You can cite it. This is a very useful tool. You could look up MLA once you get there, and it will give you the exact citation. You may want to double check it, but it's more times than not going to be right. And you can do some other things here, like share it and export it to a document, that sort of thing. This is more of the same. Here is the citation section I was mentioning. So the list goes alphabetical, so MLA will be a few listings below that. And here's the email function. So you just type in your email address and comments, subject. Another thing is 30 sheets a day is the print maximum in the computer labs or wherever you're printing from on campus to the library, if that's available in the near future. Or if you're, printing from home, it's still 30 pages a day are free. So that is that.